Hey everybody, it's Tony here again at Century Sim Racing, and this time we are having a go at a legend. Yes, it's Ayrton Senna. And today we are going to try the big one. All petrol heads, of course, are aware of Ayrton Senna's absolutely incredible 1988 pole position here at the Monaco circuit, where he finished 1.4 seconds up the road from his teammate Alain Prost, who of course was no slouch. And we all remember this, the onboard footage of Ayrton going hammer and tongs around this circuit, before unfortunately the following day in the race having a bit of an upsy-daisy into the barriers at Portier, climbing out of his car and promptly walking home. The car that we're going to be driving today is the McLaren MP4-4, which is a 1.5 litre V6 turbo, 650 horsepower for only 540 kilograms. But what is crucial is the turbo pressure. It's got so much pressure, this thing, but it takes a long time to build. And so we've got to be very, very careful on throttle, as you can see as we pull out of the pit lane there, leaving big black marks as the turbo spools up and all of a sudden kicks huge amounts of power to the rear wheels. So away we go. We're going to try to get as close as we possibly can over the course of 3 or 4 flyers, as close as we can to Ayrton Senna's pole lap, which is a 1:23.998. An absolutely remarkable achievement considering the lack of downforce and the power, the grip and so on that these cars had at the time. And as I mentioned, 1.4 seconds up the road from Alain Prost, who simply couldn't believe it, and a further 1.2 seconds from Alain Prost back to the next rival. So a real dominant performance, absolutely incredible, and of course totally manual car. 3 pedals with a clutch on the left hand side and a standard 6-speed gearbox, so hands off the wheel constantly. Not easy to do, but we're going to see how close we can get. And to tell you that I was sweating buckets through this is not quite even close to the mark. So here we go then, we're heading down towards Tabac now, tipping it in 3rd gear. We haven't quite got our tyres up to temperature, but we're doing our best. Quick through that chicane, which is flat in the current Formula 1 cars, not so much in this. It should be noted as well that we are using the current Monaco layout. Ayrton was using a slightly different layout. The track was more or less the same, but the barriers came much closer to the circuit. Okay, here we go then. We're building up to a flyer now, flat out, up to 5th gear, down the main straight, heading to Sandoval turn 1. And already I've made a mistake there. I've gone a little bit deep, understeered on the way in, and then got too hard on the power on the way back out, trying to compensate for that, and had a bit of a spinny up the rears moment. Now heading up into Massenet and Casino. Actually tapped the barriers on the left hand side there. That's not going to help our lap time at all. Braking early now down into Mirabeau, but we've actually locked up that front right hand tyre again. Not particularly tidy this lap. That's the slowest corner on the circuit, the hairpin, and now we're in 1st gear all the way down here, trying to manage the wheel spin. And again, trying to get a good exit out of here, manage that wheel spin, and now flat through the gearbox up to 5th gear. This turn right here, actually, the rear goes a little bit loose, braking at about 125 meters, trying to get as close to that barrier as we possibly can. That's pretty tidy. Not too bad through there at all. Again, heading down to Tabac now. Brake down a gear, down to 3rd, flip it through there, and now carry as much speed as you dare through this section before hard on the brakes down for this 1st gear chicane. Not too bad at all. A little bit of understeer on the exit. Now braking very, very early as we go uphill, and the front axle goes light because all the weight goes to the rear. Flipping down through Anthony-Nogent back onto the main straight. Let's see what kind of a lap time we've pulled out of the bag, and it is a 1:24.786. That's not too bad. We're about 8/10 away from Ayrton's pole time, so not bad as an opening gambit. But again, I've ruined turn 1 here at Sandoval by going too deep. And I've carried just a little bit too much speed into Casino there. Massenet. And I've had a bit of a swapper on the rear end, so we've lost a whole bunch of time there. Braking a little bit earlier, trying not to lock up that front inside tyre, and a bit more successful, and braking even earlier here to tuck it into the apex. That's a little bit tidier. We're picking up time, but we might not. A little bit hard on the power there. Just spinning up the rears, and again, tipping it in here, trying to be as good as we possibly. A little bit of a wheel spin, but that's okay. A little bit of spin is okay, as long as we can control it, and we don't have to get out of the throttle. Powering down here, we're going to brake a little bit later this time, see if we can gain a little bit more time. And again, nice and close to the barriers. That's not bad at all. We've got to be pretty pleased with that. Carried a lot of speed through. We're still down on the previous lap, but let's see how we go through this section. Carrying again as much speed as we can. Down into first gear. That's a little bit tidier through there, using a little bit more curb, which Ayrton Senna could not do. The barriers came right to the road there, so we're cheesing a little bit. And now tipping it down first gear again into Anthony Noge, getting as much of a clean exit as possible to be able to power down the straight. This isn't quite as good a lap as the previous one, even though it felt tidier. It's a 125.3. But now this lap is already going better. We've taken a better line through Saint-Devote, and you can see the gain there. We're already up nearly half a second by the time we arrive at Massenet turn 3. Trail braking in there a little bit of a swapper mid-corner, but we've not lost any time. We've carried good speed through Massenet and Casino. Down the hill now, hard on the brakes, this downhill section. We want lots of front bias on the brakes. And now we head down to the chicane, braking even earlier, actually getting the car up on the curb. And that gives a little bit more weight to the outside tyres, rotates us better. First gear again, little bit of wheel spin, but that's okay. Can we manage the wheel spin again? Yes, we can. That's nice and tidy, and we're a 1/10.5 up so far. Through the tunnel again, up to 5th gear. See how late we can brake. About the same as the last lap. We haven't locked up, and oh, I've actually knocked the front wing there. That's not going to help at all. A little bit of damage now then, so we're going to have lost some downforce. I'm going to try 4th gear through here this time, carrying 4th gear, and that's actually worked a treat. We've carried way more speed through that chicane. Oh, it's a little bit squirrely. Oh, that's a little bit dangerous. That's a little bit on the ragged edge, but we've gained a massive amount of lap time by taking that risk. And we're nice and tidy through the final couple of corners. Anthony Noge, 2 goes at the apex, but that's okay. Hard onto the power. Sounding dead of 123.998. What can we do? It's a 124.480. Not too bad, but we're half a second off from Senna's best. So I think the legend is going to have to lie. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get a much tidier lap than that. We are looking like we're maybe a little bit slower, a little bit down on this lap. We've already screwed up Saint-Devote turn 1. And let's see how far we get here. Ooh, we're not too bad through there. That's carrying a fair bit of speed down to the hairpin again. But we're starting to feel that loss of downforce with the front wing. Not sure we're going to be able to carry as much speed through any of the higher speed sections. Let's see how we go. Fairly tidy. Let's see. Are we up? We're 13 thousandths of a second up. So we could be on for a better lap here as we approach this hard downhill braking zone. And oh, I've touched the wall, and that's a lock-up. And I've missed it. I've missed the chicane there at the Nouvelle chicane. That's not going to help our lap time. In fact, that's... yeah, we're going to go ahead and call that a DNF. Half a second off Senna. It just goes to show what an absolute hero he was, and what a legend to be able to turn that car through those narrow twisties faster than we could. Half a second up the road from me, and I didn't have to have the worry of, losing my life if I put it into the barrier a little bit too spirited. Well, there we go. I did my best shot. Just so happens that Senna was pretty much as good as everybody says he was. Till next time, I'm Tony. This is Century Sim Racing. Make sure you check out centurysim.co.uk for all your sim racing needs. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe down low. We're going to get a whole bunch more of these types of videos, both hot laps, racing, across a bunch of different cars, different formats, online as well, showcasing exactly what kind of sim racing we can do here. So like and subscribe if that's of interest to you. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.